So today's story is basically about how we transitioned our practice management software. And this is an important one because a lot of people will sit with a broken PMS, right? Where it's not providing you a really nice flow. There's clunks everywhere, but the pain of transitioning to something is bigger than the pain of just dealing with the day-to-day grind. For a founder in particular, the problems are exponentially worse. And often we're just ignoring them because if your practice management software isn't giving you the ideal reporting that you want, you're often flying blind and you're just living with the best it's going to give you. Now, I don't think we should be moving around our softwares too often, but I don't think we should be accepting mediocrity as okay, well, this is as good as it's going to get, and there's going to be clunks everywhere and lots of different systems trying to interact at the same time. It's just not perfect. Look, there's never going to be perfect, but I reckon right now most software is like 6 out of 10. And 6 out of 10 for me just isn't really good enough. I would bail on a 6 out of 10 any day of the week. If someone's giving you a 6 out of 10 coffee, you're not obliged to just keep going to their cafe every single day. Like, you will go out and explore and find better things. And I think there's better stuff out there, and I'll have some very insightful stuff produced over the next coming weeks with regard to this. But my story is really about the transition, because when we transitioned, and this was an internal upgrade in our software, I'm not going to say which database, but it was basically just moving up within the same structure. Still, this was probably the most stressful experience for myself as a business owner, because I think you carry the stress of your team throughout this process more than anything else. Like, if it was just me, I would just do it and transition and it's fine. But knowing everybody in your team is going to be stressed, and knowing your role as the leader is to try to reduce the amount of chaos and conflict that happens in your team, introducing this at any time is problematic. We thought we'd do it right as the year was winding down, 2 weeks out from Christmas in a COVID year. Great plan, great strategy. But my thought process was, I'm having a baby in the new year. I don't want to be dealing with this stuff in 2021, which was when it was going to land. And I was like, let's just get ahead of it. Then we've got the quietest part of the year to actually deal with figuring this stuff out. So strategically, it's like, all right, well, we are going to light a fire here and it's going to be a problem, but we've got like 6 weeks of then clean playing time to just figure everything out slowly before our clinic ramps up in Feb. So we did the transition, got everybody lined up, got my practice manager absolutely trained through her eyeballs so she knew every process and whatnot. And I was like, we are flying into this. This couldn't be better set up. And the Sunday night before that transition happened, she went into hospital. So Monday morning, we were without our main admin team member. We didn't know how long she was going to be out for. And we had this transition scheduled for Thursday. So the whole week we were scrambling just to get the normal day-to-day stuff. And I'm just going, oh my God, this transition is going to happen on Thursday. This is going to be a disaster. It was happening in the middle of the day for some reason. That was just the timings had to match up that way. And so we did it and it worked. And I'll tell you why it worked is, funnily enough, we had a very junior admin team member on that day, and she hadn't even got her head around the previous software. Honestly, she hadn't. She'd been with us for 2 months. She was making heaps of mistakes. And I was like, great, don't worry about it, because you're going to be just as good on this new one as you were on the old one, because you're still figuring it out and you're still in that phase of trying to build up your framework for how things work. It's actually more challenging for people who've been heavily conditioned into just doing the same focused stuff for 10 years straight to then try and adapt to a new system. That's really, really challenging. So we went through that transition. It happened within about an hour. We had the clinic back under control and everything was fine. Patients are understanding of it. These little quirks were ironed out. By the next day, most things were operating as normal. Obviously, some, the more complicated billings, Medicare billings and stuff, wasn't really something we had got ourselves around. But over the coming months, we were able to figure those processes out and make sure by the new year, all the new receptionists got onboarded with really good training and, Loom videos and whatnot. And we're able to elevate that entire experience. And we're on a better PMS. We're on a better PMS. Reports were coming out better. Things were being streamlined. Our clinic was fundamentally in a different place because we replaced what was the most stagnant part of the organization. Like, our team at this point was at 8 out of 10. I reckon, and our PMS was probably 6, and we needed a 9 out of 10 software. So When we talk about making these sort of transitions through our businesses, like, yes, it's stressful, but we shouldn't just avoid stress because it's going to cause stress for our teams. There's never a perfect time for this stuff to happen. No matter how much preparation you do to put into it, there's always going to be curveballs. And our role as leaders is to manage that chaos and the distress. And like I said, this was a COVID year. I was like, look, we're used to chaos. We are used to fundamentally chaos. And why don't we try and just have this all done and dusted in 2020 itself? And we'll go into 2021 and it'll be a great year for us. And you all know what happened in Melbourne in 2021, but I digress. The reframe is really, we don't need to be nice, loyal customers for software or for SaaS products that aren't filling the role that we fundamentally need them to do. We can shop around. We can go to other places. The smaller your team, the easier this is, obviously, but we can go to other places. We can get informed, we can make strategic decisions, and we can do this stuff to put our businesses in a better place financially, better place structurally, and empower our teams to get the most out of what they're doing on a daily basis. Keep an eye out for some more videos this month, which will be going into detail about various practice management softwares that are out there and what you can do to drive your business forward in 2025. If you've enjoyed this one, I would love you to jump across to our Circle platform as well, where you can access heaps and heaps of gated content. Now, this has been building for about 18 months. It's my top content, best processes, etc. You get access to it for a one-time fee. There's over 100 business owners who are accessing this platform on a weekly basis now. So jump across, be part of it, and I hope to see you in the next video. Cheers.